Welcome to this week's MoneyFit Live. My name is Todd Christensen. I'm Education Manager at MoneyFit, author of Everyday Money for Everyday People. Today's topic, easy as pie. We're talking about how to dispute a credit report error. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Stick with me for about 20 minutes or so. Ask questions of me by email, or if you're watching this live through video chat or live chat on YouTube. Okay, let's just get right into it. Finding the error. Go to annualcreditreport.com. That's where you will get a free credit report from each of the three main consumer reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, every 12 months. You don't have to go individually to those sites directly. Just go to annualcreditreport.com, put in your information once, click that you want to check all three. You can get all three, or you can, after you get the first one, you can just leave the other two for another time. It's up to you. Generally, if you're getting ready to make a major purchase like a home on credit, borrowing getting a mortgage, you're probably going to want to make sure that all three of your credit reports are clear and accurate. So getting all three is appropriate in those cases. Okay, what can you dispute? What kind of errors are you looking for? You're looking for account details. Who is the creditor? Is it accurate, or is there a creditor that isn't even in something you recognize? How old is the account? Is it showing that it's brand new when it's really you've had it for 5 or 6 years? That actually can make a difference on your credit rating. Look at your credit limit. Look at your the status and a few other things. So ownership is another one. Does it show that it's your account, has your name on it, or is it an account that you don't even recognize? That perhaps it's a mistake. The creditor put it on somebody's put it on your credit report, even though it belongs to somebody else, has a name very similar to yours, maybe lives close by, has a social security number very similar, or is it just outright identity theft? If you don't recognize it at all, and you know you've never had this kind of account, or maybe it's in some state, a store in some state where you've never lived, this might be a case of identity theft, and you're going to want to dispute that. The status, this is really critical. How your credit report, how your loan or credit card or store account reports, as far as are you paying as agreed? Is it late? And then how late? Is it 30 days late, 60 days, 90, 120 or more? Those can have a significant effect on your credit rating. You want to make sure that it's accurate. Now, keep in mind that creditors only update their information to the consumer reporting agencies once a month. Most of them once a month. There are a few they have up to about 3 months to report, but most of them will report every month. So if you paid off your account or made a payment on it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, it may not show up until for another 2 or 3 weeks. So just keep that in mind, that it doesn't happen automatically just because you make a payment. It will only update once a month or so. You can also dispute identity information if there's information there that is not has a name. Most of us will have our name up there with the misspellings. Generally, that comes from transcription errors. If we've applied for a loan paper and somebody's typing it into some system somewhere, they miss something, or we're doing it online and we accidentally put in our name incorrectly. Spelling is not a big deal. But if there's a name on there that you don't recognize at all, that's something you want to address, and because it's a sign that there's some identity theft. If you have a family member, or maybe a sibling, or more commonly a parent or an aunt or an uncle or even a cousin that has a name very similar to yours, again, you might be able to. You're going to want to dispute that if there's information on it that belongs to them and not to you. So identity information, you're going to want to dispute if it's indicative of potential problems with your accounts. And then the age of accounts. If you've got old accounts that have the negative stuff on there, it's older than 7 years, and it's still reporting, you might consider disputing that. Now, if you're still using it, you missed a payment 8 years ago, but ever since you've been making payments on time, you can dispute that missed payment if it's still somehow reporting it. Typically, you won't see that on your credit reports. But old accounts, maybe that were included in a bankruptcy, if they're there 7 years later or 7.5 years later, usually you want to dispute that and get those off. Bankruptcies, Chapter 7 will stay for 10 years from the date of filing. Chapter 13 will stay 7 years from the date of filing. All accounts included in bankruptcy, they're closed, they're written off, they're included in bankruptcy, whatever the status would have been, those should be dropping off 7 years from the filing of the bankruptcy at the very latest. Some of them can drop off much sooner than that, depending on how old they were before the filing. So get rid of old accounts if they're accurate, or have them updated. But generally, you can dispute those sort of things. Payment details is a big one. Besides, is it paying as agreed, or is it late? You also want to see if you made a payment 5 weeks ago and it's still not showing up. Go ahead and dispute that. That's something that you want to make sure it's accurate. Should be most creditors, as I said, will update your information at least once a month. If you paid off a balance 2 months ago and it's still not showing as paid off, dispute it. Get the information and the details, all that positive stuff, get it updated and accurate. Okay, how do you do that? Quick, easy, 7 steps. Let's just go through them. 1, you've got access. First of all, you've accessed your credit report online through annualcreditreport.com. On the top of that report, there's going to be a report number or a file number. Whether it's with Experian or Equifax or TransUnion, whoever issues that report that has an error on it, to dispute it, now you have to go to their website, Experian.com, Equifax.com, TransUnion.com, and right on the home page you can look for dispute error or error resolution or credit report error. Error is what you're looking for. And then once you click on that, it'll ask you for your file number or your report number. Sometimes they will ask you for your account to log in to Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. And so you may have to create an account because they do need an email to notify you of the progress of your dispute. So you access your credit report online, and then you just scroll down to the item that you want to dispute. It's really simple at this point. Click on it, and it will say what's the reason for the dispute. It will offer you drop-down options, 5, 10, 20 different options. You just choose the one that best fits the reason why you're explaining. Don't try and make it more complicated than it's supposed to be. Don't make it sound more devious. Just what is the reason why you're filing or disputing that error. Then ahead of time, I would also come up with a 100-word explanation as to why you're disputing the account. If it belongs to, maybe it belongs to a cousin with a very similar name, get that preparation ready. It belongs to my cousin who lives 4 blocks away, or who lives 4 states away, or whatever. Have that explanation ready, because you can include that as well. If you have documentation that prove that the error it's an error, scan those in ahead of time, or take pictures of those ahead of time so that you can have those PDFs. I would recommend PDF. There are other file potential upload formats you can use as well, but save it as a PDF. Have it ready to go so that after you identify why you're disputing the error, and you put in your 100-word explanation, it's going to ask you, do you have any documents you want to upload? Get those uploaded. It's not required. Many disputes, if it's just a straightforward error that they made a mistake, then they may not need documentation. However, include the documentation if you can, click submit, and then be patient for 30 days. You will see, you'll go online and you'll read, there are companies that I still respect that are still saying you need to do all this by mail. Write them a letter. Send this information by mail. Why? It takes longer. It does not provide you any more protection or any more, it does not create any greater likelihood that you're going to be successful. Just do it online, submit it. They have up to 30 days from the time you submit it to respond with, yes, it was an error, we've removed it. No, we feel we have the documentation to prove that it's accurate, at which case we'll talk about what to do next. Or they don't respond at all, and it automatically is resolved in your favor. Whatever you dispute comes off or is fixed. It doesn't matter. You can't dispute. You can't send 5 letters a day like some shady credit repair companies used to do, or in a few of them I guess still do. You can't dispute this error over and over online. The consumer reporting agencies have put into place systems to catch that sort of stuff. It used to be that you do multiple disputes, even of accurate information. If it was negative, these shady companies would just bombard the credit bureaus or the consumer reporting agencies, because if they missed one, they said, hey, it's going to come off, and now we've got them. They've got systems in place to catch that sort of thing. Save yourself time and money, and a lot of money. Those credit repair agencies are going to charge you hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do these 7 steps, and you can do it on your own for free. All right, now if they do come back and they say, no, we feel it's accurate, here's what you do next. Do you have to do it in writing? Yeah. You can, what I would do is just reach out to your creditor directly. Whether you do it in writing or whether you reach out to them online by email or through their website, do, 1, gather all the information, documentation that you have that we talked about earlier. And then the most important thing, 3, 4, after you contact them, then track every conversation you have. Who are you talking to? What's the name? If they have representative ID numbers in the customer service department, get that. Note what you spoke about, what the topic was, and what the resolution was. What was the solution? Did they say this is what we're going to do? Don't just accept that that's what we're going to do. Have them send it to you in writing. Have them supply proof. Writing can be by mail or it can be by email. It doesn't matter. As long as they send you something that you can have electronically or on paper that says this is what we are going to do. Then if it does involve identity theft, you do want to reach out to the police department where in the jurisdiction where the identity theft occurred. So it doesn't mean that's necessarily where you live. If you had, I remember somebody I was working with in a class that I was teaching, her husband had his identity stolen, and the IRS reached out to them and said, you have been earning $35,000 of income in Georgia, and they were in Idaho, and they had never been to Georgia. And so the IRS was saying, you owe us this much money. If that sort of thing ends up on your credit report, and identity theft, that was actually employment identity theft, employment related, that's not necessarily going to end up on your credit report. But if it does, you would reach out to the local law enforcement in that jurisdiction. So in this case, in Georgia, wherever it was. And you just need a case number, a police report number, so that you can file that with the consumer reporting agency and get it removed from your credit report. They will require some sort of documentation. The police are not going to investigate generally unless you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars related to identity theft. Generally, you just need that that file report number. It used to be that they would most police departments would discourage you because it was just extra paperwork and they weren't going to do anything with it. But most have been trained and understand that you're going to need that number, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem with that. Okay, if you have learned something of interest or of value here today, please do like this video, consider subscribing so we can let you know when we have other videos coming up in the next week or two. And we're putting them out every Thursday. There's another Money Fit Live with live chat available if you have questions. And share this. Consider sharing this with a family member or friend you care about that can use some extra help or insight as far as credit goes in this case. If you would like a certificate of completion, you can go to that website right there, moneyfit.org/live, and underneath the current webinar that's coming up, there'll be a bright magenta link to getting a certificate. You click that, you'll put in your name, how you want it on your certificate. You'll include the email where you want it sent. You'll have to give this passcode, which in today's case is mistake20. MISTAKE20. No capital letters, no spaces, dashes, dots, nothing. Just mistakes20. I'm sorry, mistakes is plural. MISTAKES20. Hit submit. That certificate will be on its way to you. Should be there within a matter of a few minutes. Thank you. If you have any questions, you have my email and phone number there on this screen. Do reach out to me. Happy to help. If I don't have an answer for you, I can get you resources or send you in the right direction. But that's what we're here for as a nonprofit. Look forward to hearing from you. Hope you have a great day.